Hey everyone, NoModMaster here. Next on the list at number 19 is Graygarden. It has an area rank of 39 and a height limit of 12 floors. So Graygarden is very unique because it's a completely autonomous settlement run by Mr. Handybots. It was built by Dr. Edward Gray, who was a senior engineer for Robco Industries. It actually opened a few days before the bombs fell and was even featured on television. Only the 3 supervisor bots actually speak, and they come with 3 unique personalities due to Dr. Gray's love for television. So upon discovering this settlement, you will have to complete a quest for the robots in order to unlock the workbench. They're basically having water problems, so you'll have to go over to the water plant and clear out all the super mutants. This can be kind of difficult for a low level player. It is doable, but just keep in mind it is slightly more difficult. The area itself that Graygarden is located in is not that dangerous. It's very easy to come and find Graygarden. One other thing to note is that Supervisor Green also trades. I specifically like that he sells shipments of cloth, and he can also be invested in too. So simply talk to Supervisor White so you can get that quest to unlock the workbench. I'm going to fast forward though and show you guys what it looks like after I've completed the quest. So now that we've unlocked the workbench, we can finally take a look at the build area. One thing to note right away is that Graygarden does not have any workstations, and it does not have any access to water, unfortunately. Graygarden does come with some objects that you can scrap, mostly just wood and metal, so quite a few junk items and some trees as well that can be scrapped here. One thing to note about the height limit in this settlement is that if you try to build 12 floors, you're going to have to build down here in the corner at the lower part of the hill. But the problem is if you attempt to build 12 floors, you'll hit the highway overpass. So to be realistic, you can only build 9 floors if you build from the top of the hill. Building under the highway overpass is going to cause a problem when trying to actually build 12 floors. So this little corner of the settlement is kind of rough. You have to kind of exit the settlement and then go around to get back inside of the build zone because it's so steep right in that corner. You should probably avoid building there or just build over it completely. One other thing to note about the highway overpass, guys, is that just like Finch Farm, you can gain access to it if you build up there. But what's cool is that this highway is bigger than the one in Finch Farm, and it's a double-decker, so you can build on the first level and the second level. Another thing that's cool about this settlement is that it has lots of different crops that you can grab, especially if you're a lower level player. This stuff is very handy. You can make different things out of them. And you can also delete certain ones, so like the planters that have crops in them are deletable. You can't delete the ones that are empty, and a lot of the tables you cannot delete. So unfortunately there's not too many things you can really do with it. I would just keep it as a greenhouse. The settlement does at least come with 1 water pump, and you can also delete some of the stuff around the greenhouse as well, but again, most of the stuff is just junk. Okay, I'm going to take you guys up to the highway overpass now so that we can take a look around up there. One thing to keep in mind, if you guys end up building shops in this settlement, you can assign the 3 supervisors to any of the shops, including the Phoropter and the soda station. So when I build up onto the highway, I usually prefer to use like an elevator or scaffolding. I usually don't use stairs because they look so weird, but just for the sake of the video, we're gonna use stairs to get up here quickly. One thing I do like about this first level of the highway is that it has this downhill slant, and you can ride this back down to the ground level so that you don't fall. And then one thing I don't like, just like the one in Finch Farm, is that you can't see the edge of the settlement when you're on the highway overpass. You have to refer back down to the ground, or wait for the warning once you exit the edge of the settlement. So what's weird is that you can't scrap that big bus and these tires. A lot of the stuff is not scrappable. You can scrap some of the vehicles on the highway, or parts of them, but I don't know why they don't let you scrap more. But you just have to work with it and build around this stuff. Use foundations. You can plant stuff on these mounds too if you want to plant things up here. So the plus on this side of the highway is that you can kind of use this V-shaped design here. There's one on both sides. That tells you that that's like the edge of the settlement. So that is one little reference point that I often use when I build up here. So let's go up to the second level of the highway overpass. Another thing to note too, guys, is that there is one other settlement nearby, and that's Oberland Station. Overland Station is over the river. You can take the red railroad bridge over there, if you can see it in the background there, and that red bridge takes you right to Overland Station. So you can use that as a crutch when building up this settlement or vice versa. So here is the top of the highway. You can build 3 or 4 more floors from this level depending on how thick your floors are. But again, you're going to have to reference the ground to make sure you don't accidentally exit the settlement because you can't see the edges on the highway. This level though is much better because you can scrap a lot more stuff up here. There is one thing I dislike though, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Another thing to note too is that you have a great view of the surrounding area here, especially of downtown Boston. So right here is the edge. And then this is what I don't like is this truck. You can scrap part of it, but you can't scrap the whole thing. You also have these concrete dividers in the middle, which I don't like. But still, this level's not that bad. You can work with it, and there's enough room to build a lot of stuff up here. That pretty much concludes my video for today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.